But I'm really curious about his take on the other one, the forbidden, because who shall not be named.
Alan would have brought balance to everything. Alan's the chosen one.
Like strong interaction options is.
I am
like,
lacking context. What's the context? Can you guys give me context for this? Are they talking about Mini-Morph? So let me be clear about this. They believe they released Mini-Morph so bundle has a tool to deal with spell shield, with the units that have spell shield. Like, hold on, let me
The Reddit is definitely partially right about Targan. They're right that a lack of ability to interact with units is causing these conflicts.
No, I mean, we should just make Shapestone plus 7/2, and then we'll say we're lacking the ability to hush it. So that's the issue.
It's
BBG, I need to ask you a question. BBG, I need to ask you one question. Just one question. Just one question.
He's 100% right here. I just had to come back to let you know.
It's spell shield.
Thank you,
Spell
Mo.
shield is the problem.
BBG's, okay, Mo's also a noob apparently. So let me explain to let me ask you one question. Would you rather the game be balanced around having hard counters and be more rock paper scissors, and having the the cards be balanced around there being counters, you have to play the counters, or would you rather them just balance the actual cards so that's fair?
I don't believe here's where I don't believe having like strong interaction options is like a hard.
All right, let me watch all the parts, right? So I have good context. So
interaction is like a hard counter. I don't know where people are coming at, like Hush and Mini-Morph. They're just interaction. Being able to interact with your opponent's units is not like.
So you don't think Mini-Morph's a hard counter to Lee Sin?
Wait, what?
You don't think Mini-Morph's a hard counter to Lee Sin?
Yeah, interaction. Yeah, no, interaction.
Do you or do you not think Mini-Morph is a hard counter?
Let me. Interaction.
Yes or no question.
Mini-Morph is gonna be a hard counter
Nick is the road.
to Lee Sin because strong interaction. It's not a hard counter to units in general or any unit-based strategy in general. But strong interaction is a hard counter to going all in on a single unit.
Just a yes
so
or no.
Overall,
I need to I was disturbed by Nick going in, and I just couldn't think about what BBG is saying. I need to
say like interaction is like a hard counter. I don't know where people are coming at, like Hush and Mini-Morph. They're just interaction. Being able to interact with your opponent's units is not like.
So you don't think Mini-Morph's a hard counter to Lee Sin?
Wait, what?
You don't think Mini-Morph's a hard counter to Lee Sin?
Yeah, interaction. Yeah, no, interaction.
Do you or do you not think Mini-Morph is a hard counter?
Let me. What interaction?
Yes or no question.
Mini-Morph is gonna be a hard counter to Lee Sin because strong interaction. It's not a hard counter to units in general or any unit-based strategy in general. But strong interaction is a hard counter to going all in on a single unit.
Just a yes
or
no.
So overall,
listen.
Mini-Morph in the context. Wait, let me finish. In the context of the entire game, Mini-Morph is not a hard counter spell, but it will hard counter specific Mini-Morph. But it will hard counter specific decks. Those are like tech cards.
Alright, is this it?
Large. No, it is not in the context of the game at large. No, it is not.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But at Lee Sin, do you think it's a hard counter or not a hard counter?
I think it's a pretty hard counter to Lee Sin, yeah, because they can't. If you Mini-Morph Lee Sin, as soon as he comes down, they can't even bastion him.
Would you rather the game be balanced around balancing the actual cards for all matchups, or be more balanced around cards allowed to be broken if they print a broken hard counter to that card? Would you rather it be more rock paper scissors? Would you rather the game be balanced around balancing the actual cards for all matchups, or be more balanced around cards allowed to be broken if they print a broken hard counter to that card? Would you rather it be more rock paper scissors?
I told you, if we were adding BBG to the call, nobody say Mini-Morph. Who said Mini-Morph?
Not me. Oh, but I don't know, Nick. I prefer to play Go Fish when I play Runeterra. I like to say, like, hey, you have the card, you don't. Let's go fish. And that's it.
And that's my approach as well. Like, I hired, like, in terms of, like, just despite all this discussion, I agree with the Silverfuse. Like, I have the same approach. Like there are scenarios where you don't want to do that, but there are scenarios where like most of the time you want to play, like you want to check if they have it or not.
Can I
Despite the discussion.
Decided before the matchup starts, or like
I
in the
remember
game,
being
based on
4
your
years
decision?
old and playing against my mom. We would play Go Fish. This was actually like, you know, one of my first.
Not in the context of the game at large.
All right, one more part, I believe, right? Give me the last one. Yeah. So okay. So the question, like, first of all, they have to realize why Riot released Mini-Morph, because I don't think they realized why is this a card and why they released it as a card and why is it in the format. Because they are thinking that Riot, like at least Nick, from what I can hear in the opinion here, they are releasing the card so players have a way to deal with Lee because Lee is broken, or like combo like all in on one card decks are broken, and that's completely not the case. First of all, like regarding Mini-Morph, I talked about it yesterday, I'll talk it last time today. The reason why they're releasing Mini-Morph, because they want to give Bundle City hard removal. It's not a hard removal, but it's a removal, okay? So, if you sit at the table, design table, and you think, okay, so what sort of removal should a Bundle City as a region have to fit its identity? Because like if you look at the SI, Ruination, Vengeance, yeah, they are SI, like they are like Shadow Isles. It fits to just kill a unit or mass kill the units. It fits the identity of the region. What fits the region of the Bundle City? It fits that we're gonna resize the big unit to smaller unit. Yeah. Okay. So what kind of size that unit should be after resizing? How much mana should it cost, and what speed it should be at? So those are the next steps they have to figure out. They came into conclusion that 3/3 is gonna be good if you pair it with 6 mana, and it's gonna be at the burst speed. So now the question is, okay, is this card broken? They had to playtest those cards. They played against various decks, and I believe if you put 3 Mini-Morphs into your deck and you face a mid-range deck, you're gonna fall over, because this card is almost unplayable into mid-range decks. Because it doesn't do anything. Because you need to deal with opponent's threats. And if you have 6 mana, change your opponent's 4/3 into 3/3, it's completely unusable. So, if you want to run such a card and you run into ladder deck, can you run 2? 2 might be still too much, because if you drew 2 of them into mid-range deck, like those are like cards, like you are just losing 2 cards for no reason, because they are unplayable. So maybe one of if you face like just to have it, right, as a tool. And then if you have one of it, like again, it comes like the card comes with deck building cost. If you put 3, you're gonna be losing certain matchups 10% of the time more often than you would normally. 2 could be good. Like now you if it's between 0, 1, 2, now you have to make a call based on the meta you see. For the ladder purpose, I don't think it's ever more than 1. For the tournament, it could be completely different. Depends on your lineup, depends what you are targeting, depends what you expect other people to bring. I could see it definitely being brought as a free off. But I think the card is fine. It's in terms of balance-wise. In terms of toxicity-wise, yes, it's fucking toxic. But balance-wise, it's a fine card. Hope this sums up my opinion about Mini-Morph. You can guys clip, you can guys give them. So, yeah. The part 4.
We are all scissors. It's like no, like we said multiple times. We don't want going to be rock paper scissors.
We are talking.
I like Swim is just I'm gone. It's free content. Let them just argue. This man is genius. Like, he doesn't want to play the game, he can't milk it himself, he's just gonna invite people and let them talk. This man is genius, I'm telling you. You guys don't appreciate his genius.
It's like no, like we said multiple times, we don't want it's gonna be rock paper scissors.
We were talking about Mini-Morph, and you guys all agreed with me, and somehow like it all turned on you guys like
because
attacking me.
we agreed that they should balance the cards and not make it like a rock paper scissors meta. But then we don't agree on it.
BGG wasn't. Like... That's why I was talking to him, and then you guys like. So do you like Mini-Morph or not? I'm confused.
Yeah, I love Mini-Morph. And then you're gonna say, oh, so you love like rock paper scissors meta? And those are two.
This doesn't make much sense to me.
I shouldn't join these calls. I feel like it always somehow turns on against me randomly, and I just look like
no.
Shit, so
I agree with you, Nick. I think Swim and I agree.
I agree with you too, Nick.
I agree with you. Guys backed out and then made me look like shit. So.
No. It's just that
this is a
Nick,
guys, don't look like people are trying to come after each other. We're trying to figure out. We're trying to make a point. Is Mini-Morph good for the game or not? You know, this is a gentleman's discussion here. Yeah.
And
scissors. It's like no.
I have no idea what they are talking about. Rock paper scissors and how does that doesn't make any sense to me. But okay. Oh, you mean the card because the card is polarized? Okay, guys. So I'm gonna give you other cards example that are very polarized. Wheel of Ionia is a very polarized card as well then. Vengeance is very polarized, Hush is very polarized. Those cards suck against aggro, but they're amazing against combo and control decks. Why don't you argue about those cards? They are very polarizing. Like, this discussion have no fucking sense. Like, what? You're gonna argue, you're gonna argue about Passage Unearthed because it's polarizing? Like, bruh. Guys, every card that's reactive or very specific, good in the specific scenario comes with the deck building cost. You have to make your deck weaker to certain archetype to be better against other archetype. That's the whole point of the fucking card game. Like, what? Like... Like, that's the whole point of the card games. You make your deck good against certain decks. And you either make it weaker against certain archetype or you make it stronger. Like, why there is even a discussion about card being polarizing? Of course, a reactive card is polarizing because it's gonna react well into certain decks and into other ones it will be fucking trash. Will you fucking Wheel of Ionia opponents Teemo? No! You don't want to Wheel of Ionia opponents Teemo. Do you want to Wheel of Ionia opponents Lee when they have Zenith Blade on it? Of course you do. You're gonna just win. Like, what? Please, guys. Like, kurwa, no. It takes common sense to understand those. I'm not getting angry, guys. I'm just passionate about the game and like I explained in the passionate way, it might occur as being angry, but I'm not. What you want is a card decreasing your win rate by, let's say, 5% in one matchup to increase your win rate by 5% in another. And Mini-Morph is more like decreasing by 5 to increase by 30. Sir, I'm sorry, but your math is incorrect, straight up. Because you need to, like, I don't know if you are, it's not 5 to 30. Because remember, there is stuff like drawing a card in the require moment. It requires opponent not having multiple win cons in the hand. It's a lot more complex than 5 to 30. And also, you don't recognize that like when the Mini-Morph will be in the meta, people will be playing more win cons in the combo deck. So Z decks will be playing Lee decks, if there will be still around, they'll be playing multiple win cons. Lee action doesn't have that problem because you have action as an extra win con. In terms of Zoe Lee, you go to Z as an alternative win con. I would you suggest Mini-Morph not to be called toxic fast speed? Why it can't be toxic? Why not just leave it? Like, I'm not, guys, just because something, okay, maybe I didn't precise it well. It's not toxic to me, but I know how other people will feel about the card. They'll just say it's toxic, but it's balanced. I know, like, I don't care how, like, I'm the person who just adapts to whatever it's thrown at me. I don't care if the card is fucking broken as fuck, I'm gonna play around it. I don't care, like, of the design of the card and how it impacts mentally. Like you guys hate NAB when you play against NAB and they just nab your cards. Like I take it into consideration and that's it. They just nabbed a good card. That's fine. Yeah, just let's go next game. But I don't think the card is like I don't think any card is toxic. I think how the people perceive it, but I don't think that's the case with myself. Mini-Morph is toxic, but double strike, spell, shield, 15 attack, elusive, severe isn't. You know what's best about the double strike, spell, shield, 15 attack, elusive, severe isn't? Yeah, the severe, yes. You need fucking 5 cards to have achieve that. And if your opponent have 5 cards and is gonna throw at you 5 cards, and that means you are losing anyway. If opponent didn't have the combo cards but just normal cards, and you just lost the game regardless. You're telling me that since the start of the game there is not a single card or pack of card you found toxic? No. Like I don't... Guys, like I have a bit different mentality than other people. There is a reason why I am good at every game I play. Except of the ones that requires from me reflexes. At this point at least. I used to be back at those, good at those back in the days, but now I'm not anymore. Because I have different approach. I don't have approach where I'm gonna be thinking that card is poorly designed or is bad, or yeah, I couldn't do anything. Because this way you don't improve. Okay, guys, for those who are competitive, if you want to get better, if you want to like, if you want if you want just to be good at the game, and to prove it, back it up. I was the best in Poland for the Dota 2. Not Hon, I was second best in the Hon. Because Overpo was better than me back then. One of the best in the HOTS in Poland. I wasn't the best. Like I was in top 5 maybe. I was top 1 world for a good time in TFT. I think I'm good at the lore. And there was much other games. Oh, I like CS:GO Global when it was actually it mattered. Again, mentality is everything. Approach is everything. And dedication. Yeah, Szychu was one of the best on his position. Yeah, Szychu was probably the best tank in HOTS in Poland. Like the way I learned those was like poker, basically. Poker like from between the Dota and TFT, I was playing poker as well. Abroad. And that helped me shape my mentality in a better way. Like if I played poker before Dota, I would be playing still Dota probably. If I learned how to become the best, because I didn't know how to do to achieve that when I was playing Dota. I learned that when I played poker and I studied poker. And I could see the result that in TFT and lore afterwards, because that was like between those two. Like between HOTS, Hon and Dota and TFT and lore, I was playing poker. This was the time. Do I miss playing poker? A bit. I miss the interaction with people. I don't miss that much poker. I miss the interaction with people. Like I was always more a fan like of the playing. Like I was mainly tournament player, but I swapped to cash games. And just playing the people was more fun for me than grinding tournaments. Yeah, don't gamble, guys. Gambling is not good. I don't consider poker as a gamble, but still, don't gamble. Maybe I should mention that before talking about poker. What is the approach to get better? There are so many steps. Like, first of all, you need to know the game you play. Let's say that. Let's say we are talking about lore, right? So before you start learning to become the best, you need to play a lot. You need to learn. You need to know basically when you're going into opponent. You need to know 90% of the opponent's cards in the deck, and you can go from here. Then you go in. You have to set up a gameplay. Then you have to think for every turn ahead. You need to know what's your opponent's best play and what's your response to that. And if your best play is not playing your opponent's best play, you have to know that and when to do that or not. Then analyzing the game from the just going through the replay and going over what could have been other possible plays, and if you had a better line, so you can adapt, like use that in the future. Like there are so many lines. Like again, I do that stuff explained on the coaching. I usually don't do explain those on the stream. It's just too much stuff, and like every player needs something different. What bingo, guys? Did you guys make bingo based on what I'm gonna say?